What is going to happen to the Republican Party moving forward? This is a really interesting question. Mick Mulvaney, Trump's former chief of staff, said the following: Trump will run for the presidency again if he loses. He already lost. He'll run for the presidency again. The president could mount a challenge again in 2024 or 2028. Listen, if he's going to do it, I don't think he's going to do it in 2028. I think he would do it in 2024. That's what I think. In some ways, we should all be rooting for this. Because, as I alluded to previously, in the same way we have a civil war within the Democratic Party, you have the left and you have the corporatists or the establishment types, the business as usual, the triangulators, right? In the same way, we have really serious fractures in the Democratic Party, and we just don't see eye to eye at all. You're going to have the same thing in the Republican Party, except worse. Except worse. Now, you might say, well, hold on, Kyle. They all agree on policy, so does it really matter? Yes, it absolutely matters because the rift they have is more cultural than policy-based. And when it's more cultural, and you guys will know this because you see the way the culture war has been raging in this country for so long, you're actually at each other's throats even more. Because you're going to have the Mitt Romney types. You're going to have the establishment types. The elite Republicans, the establishment Republicans. They just want to get past Trump. They view him as embarrassing. They view him as embarrassing because of the mean tweets and because of the no filter. And they just want that gone. They want the filter back on. They want the civility and the decorum and things of that nature. But Trump is not going to let this go. And Trump is going to rile up his base. Trump's base is the base of the Republican Party, and it's more the working class Republicans who are rigidly partisan. Whereas the establishment Republicans represent the moneyed interest. Now, Trump also represents the moneyed interest in terms of policy, but in terms of culturally, no. There's a class divide in the Democratic Party, and the lower income Republicans are going to break more for Trump, and the upper middle class and the rich Republicans are going to break more for Jesus, just give me somebody like Mitt Romney. So, Trump doesn't handle rejection well. I think it's likely he runs again in 2024. And if he runs again in 2024, let me ask you a question, guys. Who the hell's going to beat him on the Republican side? Who's going to beat him? Who's going to beat him? They're trying to push out there Nikki Haley. You think Nikki Haley is going to beat Donald Trump? My ass cheeks. Oh, please, Nikki Haley. Hell out of here. You think, the next one that they're pushing, they say Tom Cotton, because he represents more of the MAGA, strain of political thought, where he's a little bit more protectionist, for example, on trade and things of that nature. But no, I'm not buying that at all. At all. Because he's as hawkish as possible, too. Trump at least gave the rhetoric of anti-war stuff. Tom Cotton is as hawkish as it gets. And he's in favor of torture. He's argued for torture previously. And he also has the personality of a dirty diaper. Are you kidding me? Listening to Tom Cotton talk, I'm more entertained by watching paint dry than listening to Tom Cotton talk. You think Tom Cotton is going to beat the big man? Tom Cotton. Get out of here. Even the more polished versions of the Trump philosophy, to the extent there is one, but you know what I mean. This is Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley represents that, the more polished version of Trumpism. Josh Hawley is not going to beat Donald Trump in a primary. It's not going to happen. Mike Pence, if anything, is next in line to be the Republican nominee, and Mike Pence obviously isn't going to beat Donald Trump. If he runs in 2024, he gets it locked up. He gets the GOP nomination locked up. And that puts the Republicans in a terrible spot because they want to go past the Trump era. The establishment Republicans want that, and they're not going to be able to if he decides, no, I'm going to do this. So in some ways, you should be rooting for Trump at this point. He already lost. Biden is going to get in there come hell or high water. So now, sit back and watch the chaos unfold. Because listen, they love nothing more than to watch the left and the center go at it in the Democratic Party. They love it, they love it, they love it. Every time we fight with Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer. They're like, yummy, yummy in my tummy. They love that. They want us to be at our throats. And by the way, listen, we have to. Like, we need to win this civil war within the Democratic Party. But now they got one of their own. And it can really, really fracture them moving forward. So even though they agree on policy, the cultural stuff will override the policy stuff. And they'll be at each other's throats. And I am really interested to see how that unfolds. But listen, don't take it from me. Take it from Mick Mulvaney, his former chief of staff. This guy does not handle rejection well. He has a chip on his shoulder. He feels like they all look down on him because they do. And so he'll be like, okay, fine. I'm going to run again in 2024. Go ahead, try to stop me. You're not going to be able to. The season finale of America is getting pretty wild.